your kids to be helpful, right? I want my kids to be helpful. Well, I'm so excited because for the Mindful Mama podcast, I have a guest coming on in the future. I'm reading her book now, Micheline Duclef, Hunt, Gather, Parent. And this is so good that I have to share it with you right away. So we in the West and the United States and Europe, we make this big mistake when trying to get our kids to be helpful. And we want our kids to be helpful, but then we do things like chore charts, and we have to bug them, we have to nag them, it's a pain in the butt. We don't want to do any of those things, but how do we get them to be helpful? There is research that shows that chore charts and things like that and actually make kids less helpful. So what do? A big mistake that we make happens when our kids are young, when they're 18 months old, toddlers, a year old. And think about when your child is a year old, and maybe you have a little one now, and if so, you're in luck. Because a toddler really wants to help, right? They want to do everything. I do it by myself. I want to do it, right? They want to help. Now, what do we do in at least the United States? We, when we're cooking, when we're sweeping, when we're folding laundry, we're like, no, go away, don't help. And what is the message we're giving them? That doing helpful things around the house is not something for you to do. And so we're taking this moment when they really want to be part of it, they want to help, and we're discouraging it, right? So instead, we want to take that moment when we have a toddler who, yes, messes up and makes messes and things like that, and we want to encourage them to help as much as possible. And Micheline talks about how this happens very naturally in indigenous cultures, particularly the Mayan culture. And she says that children have an innate desire to help their parents. They're born that way. It may not seem like it, but they genuinely have a built-in drive to belong to the family, and helping earns their place in that group. And we're going to talk about older kids in a second. Oftentimes they don't know how best to help, so they seem clumsy or incapable, and that's not when we tell them to go away and not do it, or give them fake vegetables to cut, or give them something pretend to do, or toys to entertain them. No, that's when we want to actually train them. We want to encourage their helpfulness. So when first starting to help with a task, a child's gonna make a mess, right? But with practice, they'll learn quickly and still maintain the love for helping. So you want to really encourage them. You never want to discourage a child, really at any age, from helping a child or a family member. Shooing them off will extinguish their motivation to pitch in and to help and work together. So how can we encourage this? Ask your toddler to bring you something, bring you your shoes or a cup of water or something. You don't need to go overboard and do it 100 times a day. You don't need to praise them to the moon when they do it, but just, ask them to carry something, to stir a pot on the stove. Let them help in tiny ways, right? And make sure the requests are for real jobs that make a real contribution, not fake work or mock work. And make sure you're working together, you're not doing it alone. And just simple things, right? And for older kids, we can do this too. We want to encourage our kids to help out as much as possible. I mean, she has zero advice from kids my age, 12 to 15, 12 and 15, but I'm going to be asking them to help out, as I do all the time. So one of the things I was really good at with this when my second daughter was youngest was she helped out a lot in the kitchen. When she was a baby, I wore her in the ergo while I cooked. When she was a toddler, I had her cut things with a little wavy cutter with her hands. And she loves to cook now and really takes the initiative to do a lot of cooking now that she's 12. You should see the breakfast she made. This morning, she made herself sauteed mushrooms with garlic and scrambled eggs for breakfast. Yeah. So we can do this, but don't make that mistake. If you have a little one, don't shoo them off. And now the thing about this is that this requires a lot of patience because they make a big mess, right? We don't want to clean that mess up like right away afterwards, right? It takes a lot of patience to encourage helping, and that requires us to be able to take care of our stress response. And so I have a resource below, the top 2 tips to help you take care of your stress response, that will help you with that patience piece as you do this. But I hope this helps. I hope you can join me in helping our kids to be more helpful and encouraging them to be part of the family team rather than shooing them off and then feeling like we have to entertain them. We don't. They can be part of what's already happening in the family. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. Let me know in the comments below, and we'll continue the conversation over at the Mindful Mama Tribe Facebook group. Okay, bye. Thank you. Namaste.